Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aisha, and today I'm here with Amina to talk about how black females are presented in society. So, how do you feel about the label black women are angry and aggressive?
How do you feel about it?
I like that. It's annoying because we're not angry and we're not aggressive. I think we're expressive, and I think we take pride and confidence in expressing how we feel. And I think it's a thing that everyone should take on as well. I don't know if other races do, but just in general, I think everyone should be expressive and vocal about how they feel, just about anything in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I guess there's this one-dimensional sort of perception of black women that, you know, it goes up to our hair. Do you know what I mean? Like, from our bodies down to the way that we speak, we're labelled as angry, and it puts us in a box, and it's not a very helpful one because it means that people can dehumanize us. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't see anything but an angry person, then you don't want to feel for them, you don't want to have empathy for them, and that's very dangerous. It's dangerous for us because it means that policy that's being passed is racist.
Do you know where the term or the phrase "angry black woman" came from?
I don't know originally where it came from. No.
Well, from the little research that I have done, I came to find that researchers have claimed that it came from racism and slavery. So when it was during the slavery times, black women were tortured, were raped, battered, abused, etc. And in retaliation of what happened to them, the slave owners called the black women angry and aggressive just because they were upset about how they were being treated. For someone to go through rape, for someone to go through torture, constant abuse, and for them to reply in an aggressive manner, I think they have every right to. And to take mockery of that and to now label them as angry black women, I think it's rude, it's disrespectful. And when I now think about it again, and it's still being used to this day, it's like people just throw the word loosely without knowing where it actually stemmed from. How do you feel about like the history of where that word came from and the fact that it's still being used to this day?
I feel like learning things like that is really important, and it was obviously used in a way to quash resistance from black women, black women. So it doesn't really surprise me. The more I read, the more I watch, the more these things don't surprise me, but they hurt. And like you said, they have a legacy. Just like, and that legacy that continues, and it will continue until the whole of society makes a conscious choice to push it aside.
I kind of feel like that word won't ever go away, just because us as black people, we use that word as well very frequently. In music videos, rap videos, we hear the N-word being used by black rappers, artists as well. In today's society, young children as well, we use the N-word. So if we say that it's rude for other races to use that word, but we still use it, does that make any sense?
As black people, we have the right to use that word if we want to, because I think I don't use it myself because of all the history that is steeped in. I don't like saying it, not even when I'm saying that what someone else has said. I'm quoting someone else. I find it very difficult for it to leave my mouth. But I can respect that some black people want to use it. That's nothing to do with white people. Like, for white people, they need to understand their part in the system, their power. So when they use the N-word, it's a completely different thing to when a black person uses the N-words.
Going back onto the label of angry black women, another thing is that that label keeps on repeating itself. We see it in films, we see it in, mainly say films and TV series, where the black female or women as a whole, if they're like in a film or a TV series, the character or the roles that they always seem to play most of the times is the single mum looking after kids, or the angry ex who's still stuck on her ex-boyfriend, or the loudmouth party girl. And even though some of these characters may seem like fun to watch and whatever, but we still need to remember that there's no smoke without fire. Every movie that we watch is like a film or something that's happened before in real life. So I feel like until these films start to place black women in, better suited roles, like a different role, maybe not better suited, a better until that happens, I feel like that label will be with us for a very long time. So how do you feel about, like, constantly seeing films or TV series that, black women are portrayed in that way?
I find it quite stifling, because it's like you said, like it will look like black women can't be loved, or be happy, or hard to love, or that you're just sassy and you're like this all the time, whatever, like all of these caricatures of these myths that have been made about what a black woman is. It is damaging, I think, is what you're kind of maybe saying. Maybe I'm paraphrasing, but it is damaging for us who actually experience life. Well, all across the world, I think it's damaging internationally.
Yeah, mentioned the positions of power. We have the former First Lady of America, Michelle Obama. She was like an advocate for black girls, especially like, for us to do what we want to do, go out there and be successful and achieve. Do you think we have enough enough leaders for black females, for us that that can encourage us to be more than what we are?
Not really, but then again, I think representation is important. Like I ran for election last year. I ran to be in the London Assembly during the mayoral election, with a party that was like formed from scratch. That was like, sort of doing stuff with minority groups, for minority groups, those that are marginalised in our city and can't afford to live here anymore, etc., etc. And I did it because I didn't feel like there are enough people out there representing minority groups, However, I have to say that the system that we're living in is, there are so many kinds of oppression that we're facing, and we need to tear that down. It ain't about one person like being enough to change things. It needs to change from the grassroots up. That's what I believe. Without that systemic change, then we're not moving forwards in the way that we need to get rid of racism, sexism, classism, and the rest of it.
We're going to move on to cultural appropriation.
Boom.
Cool. There has been, few uproars with certain celebrities, copying or imitating certain cultures, and people from that culture being angry at the fact that they can, imitate these cultures but not, be there with us in our times of sufferings. So, for example, the Kardashians and the Jenner, because they're together, or Miley Cyrus. So
they're all a mess, though.
I mean, I like Kim.
Okay.
I mean, the way she became famous, that's her own.
That's her business, but
yeah. I think she's done well for herself, but I feel sometimes she could, have a bit more empathy for what she does, especially when she imitates like the black girl culture in terms of, braids or the hoop earrings or the long acrylic nails, because those style, if it was on a black girl, I believe it would be called ghetto, or look at her, she looks like trash. But when it's on someone like their level with such status and power and money, it seemed like, oh my god, it's the high fashion, it's exotic, it's, you know, it's amazing. And I think people were angry at the fact that you can do all of these things, but when we're there suffering as black females, you're nowhere to be seen. And my thing is, do they have to be there with us when, you know, we're going through these sufferings? Can't they just like do the hairstyles and not, you know, be with us in our sufferings?
Well, they're doing the latter of what you said already. They're doing the hairstyles, and they're not actually lifting up black voices. That's it. When a black woman has their hair out big or whatever, or they have it cane roads or whatever, then you're seen as ghetto, or, you know, not worthy of a job interview, or, you know, all of that. It really impacts on our life and our ability to live. Like, we have to make ourselves more palatable in order to survive, you know? But then if a white person wears that thing, then there's all different other, oh, you're so cool, you're so cool, like, how do they get to be that and then wear ratchet or whatever, you know? Like, it's not okay. Like, and I wish that white people would look at that dynamic, because until we're all equal, until black lives actually matter in this world, then that's not all right with me, personally. And like, I think that black people doing it to like Asian cultures, I don't think that's right either, personally. If you don't understand the culture or whatever, and you're not, maybe, you're not down for understanding why you got a bindi on your head, I don't think that you should be wearing that. I think it's quite offensive, to be honest, because it's like, oh, you know, oh, you want the cane roads, but you don't want to be there at a Black Lives Matter march with me. You don't put your body on the line for the things that happened to me as a black woman, not just a woman, but a black woman. That's where gender and race intersect. You know, like, people think it's harmless, innit? Oh, I've bought these hoops, or I'm wearing this medallion, or whatever the hell you think it is to look cool. And actually, it's offensive because we don't have the same rights as you yet, but you're going to characterize and caricature my hair or whatever, you know.
So I think we can learn, basically, do not imitate or copy the culture if you don't understand, if you're not willing to do your research to understand. Thank you, Amina, for coming down here today, and that's all for today, guys. Thank you. Bye.